Contrary to what most photographers think, a flat photo isn't an exposure problem, and it's not a color problem, it's a dimension problem. Your subject and your environment are competing for the same space in a frame, and when it's like that, nobody wins. I was on a coaching call yesterday, and I was working with a photographer to create a grid and to create a look, and we got everything dialed in, but we got to the point where the photos still look flat. The subject was sitting on the exact same tonal and color plane as everything else in the frame. The colors in the environment weren't muted, so the subject just got lost. Everything in the frame was treated as an equal, so the viewer's eye was bouncing all over the place and never really had a place to land. And that's what flat actually is. Not underexposed, not desaturated, but just dimensionless. Creating dimension comes down to managing two things simultaneously: your lighting and your color, but specifically managing them differently from your subject to your environment. Your subject needs to take a step forward into the foreground, and your environment needs to take a step back. And when both are treated the same way, neither one really wins. When you treat those two oppositely and deliberately, then naturally that subject is going to pull forward in the frame, and your viewer is going to know exactly where to look. Here's specifically what this looks like though. For the subject, you brighten them relative to the environment to a point of where it's still believable. Then you want your saturation to be greater on the subject than it is in the environment, and you want the color palette to revolve around that color. But for the environment, you want it to be completely different. You want to pull back the brightness and reduce the saturation on the colors that are in that scene, and let that become the supporting element rather than the competing one. And then that contrast between the subject and the environment is actually what creates that depth. That subject literally appears to be in the front of that scene rather than just blend into it all. I'm going to open up a photo though and show you exactly what this adjustment looks like though. Okay, so we're going to look at this photo here, and obviously you can see that this is a final grade. This is a final look that I came out with. So one of the reasons why I want to show you a final grade is because this photo, whether you think, yeah, it looks cool, it's not fully done. And there's a few things that we are going to cover and go through in terms of what I just talked about. And so I'm going to explain to you how we're shaping this photo by the lighting and the color itself. So when we look at this final grade, there's a few things that are going on that I want you to pay attention to. And the reason why I'm not going through shaping this is because like this photo would take a long time to go through the process of editing and color grading, but you really just need these few principles in order to separate your photos from the masses. So this is the raw photo that we have here. And as you can see, this is super dark. Like our subject is dark. Obviously, yeah, there's some motion blur that was intended, and they're just kind of blending into the scene. Like, sure, there's a little bit of depth because obviously, like when you're framing a subject like this where you have like something off in the distance in the background and them up in the foreground, for sure, you're going to create that look and you're going to create like that depth and separation. But what can quickly happen is when you start to edit, the problem becomes this subject can start to blend into the foreground, which is in here, and the color, which is like in the pants here, can also start to blend into the background. And so let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So going back to the final edit here, you can see here in my color mixer tab that my blues are extremely desaturated. And the reason why I did that is because when I double click here, you can see we have a lot of blue saturation. Now, some people might want to keep this blue saturation, and I don't think that that's necessarily bad, but where things start to get messy is when you have this saturation so bright and so contrasted in the background that it's actually pulling attention away from your subject. Now, you might not think that this is really pulling too much attention away, but oftentimes in environments where like there's no color grade at all, sometimes the saturation can look more like this, where it's super poppy, super bright, and super heavy, but naturally that doesn't actually help your scene because the viewer's eye, when they're looking at this photo, is initially going to this background. And that is exactly what you want to work against. And you might say, okay, well, that's your personal style if you want to desaturate like that. And it's like, yeah, that definitely is my personal style, but there's still a point where the viewer's eye is going to go to the back part of that frame. But this is actually one of the first rules that I like to implement in my photos is I will start to desaturate and lower the luminance on colors in the background that don't draw attention to where my subject is in the frame or the section of my frame where my subject is. So like you can say, for example, okay, well, we've got some greens in here and like these are relatively saturated. But what that actually helps to do is draw attention to this part of the frame. And that's exactly where our subject is. So what I like to do is not necessarily always get rid of the colors, but if you lower the saturation and you lower the luminance on the color, even to something like this, It's like, yeah, you still have good saturation, but the difference between a color that looks like this and a color that looks like this is this color that was before right in here, this actually draws less attention to that part of the frame because it's not as heavily saturated and it's not as bright to the eye, because our eyes are most drawn and attracted to the brightest and most saturated parts of a photo. So that's why I set up that two rule structure where when you're actually drawing attention to your subject and trying to create that three-dimensional image, you want to actually draw attention by brightening up your subject and by having them more saturated. And so that is one of the key aspects and key elements to what's actually going to separate this photo. Now, you can see here that this subject looks still pretty dark. And so what we need to do is we need to go in and we need to create a subject selection mask. And so once we've dialed in our photo, this is kind of my last step to really make the photo pop. And so what I'll do is I'm going to bring up a bit of exposure here. I'm going to erase some of these shadows, but not too much, because if we go too much like this, what can happen is this subject and the shadows of the subject actually looks brighter than what's going on in the rest of the scene. So like if we look at our shadows here in like the background and even like down here in the hay, that shadow actually looks more contrasted than what we're getting in our subject. And so we don't want to make it look like our subject was kind of cut and pasted onto our scene. And so what people can tend to do is like they'll brighten up to like a point like this. And it's like, okay, these highlights, these shadows, and these midtones don't actually match the rest of the scene. And so you might have heard me say at the start, you want to make it look believable. So the objective is to bring it up just enough to the point where it's still believable and still makes them pop from the scene. I'm just going to lower some blacks just to create some more contrast, raise a bit of shadow still. Okay, so if I turn the eye off and on, you can see we are getting more information there, but it's not making them stand out from the rest of the scene. And let's say, for example, like these highlights on our subject were to be super bright, like something like, let's raise that up. Okay, something like this. These highlights don't match the rest of the highlights in the scene. So when you are adjusting your masks, you want to be thinking, how do the highlights, midtones, and shadows on my subject compare to the rest of the scene? And that is ultimately what's going to give you a really clean and a really believable mask. And so we're just going to reset this highlight and the whites. And I'm just going to lower some blacks again. Okay, so we want the exact same amount of contrast to be on our subject as within the rest of the scene so it all looks believable. So now we've brought attention to our subject. So if I turn the eye off and then turn the eye on, you can see we've brought good attention to the subject by making them stand out. Now the next step in how we actually draw more attention to our subject is by either darkening or brightening the outer parts of the scene. And so that would look like creating a linear gradient mask here, pulling up from the bottom. And I'm just going to lower the exposure, lower the blacks, and that's going to draw attention more to them, because when we're lowering the luminance in a certain area, then we're actually pushing attention to the brighter parts of the scene. But what happens when you lower the luminance in an area is you actually bring up more of contrast in the color, making it look more saturated. So we need to go to the saturation, lower the saturation here. And we want to make sure that that saturation matches the rest of the scene right in here. Then we're going to go to linear gradient again, pull that down from the top. And we're going to lower the exposure and the blacks to a point where it looks really nice and contrasty. This is what I would prefer for my scene. Perfect. Okay, now just by doing that, we are getting more saturation into the blue. And so we need to go back to the saturation here, lower some saturation. Perfect. Now I feel like that really draws a lot more attention to our subject. So if I turn all the masks off, you can see almost just how flat the image looks. Even though this is technically a really strong color grade, when we turn this on, now we get a lot more depth and separation to our subject. Now, you might think that this is just like a masking tutorial, but there's actually one more key element here. And that is actually drawing attention to your subject by making them the dominant color. And so this is actually part of my cinematic clarity system, and you can actually grab that for free below. But this is one of the steps in that process where I choose one dominant color that directs attention to my subject. And so for me, that would be something like the horse here. And the reason why I got to choosing the horse, like from this raw photo, is because first and foremost, what is going to be like the color that takes up the most space in the scene is actually going to draw the most attention. And what I had to work with was this color. Now, the second qualifying factor that I'm looking at is, okay, what colors are in the rest of the scene? So when I look at a color palette here, so our horse is sitting somewhere over right here, maybe a little bit lower, somewhere right here within the color spectrum. But then we have our blues in the scene. Okay, we know that we have blue, so we know we can create a complementary color palette. So we need to push those blues towards that teal, which is exactly what we got. And then our greens in here are sitting somewhere up in here. And what that does is it actually creates a split complementary because we have almost this triangle where it comes down to here, 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 right? And so we're creating this split complementary look, and that's why this look actually works. And so one of the ways that most people completely ignore is the way that you draw attention to your subject and separate them from the rest of the scene is by having one dominant color that points to them. And then when somebody looks at your photo, they're saying, oh, I know exactly where to look because that color initially draws attention to them. And you can see that this saturation here within the horse is more saturated than the yellows, is more saturated than the blues, and that is on purpose. We want to make sure that this color naturally stands out more than everything else in the scene. So you can see that creating a really strong image comes from separating your subject with the lighting and the color. You're naturally going to be pulling your subject to the foreground with color, and then you're naturally going to desaturate and lower the luminance on the rest of the scene surrounding the subject. And then you'll let that contrast between the two create that depth. All right, so if you like this video and you want to see more videos just like this, then I think you'll really like this one. So I'll see you over there. All right, peace.